It's time to subscribe to Paid to Be Famous. What are you doing?
Subscribe to Paid to Be Famous.
Subscribe to Paid to Be Famous. Like the video. Come on.
Hell
you know
yeah.
the drill.
Button.
And slap that like button.
Woo!
Hey.
Do you guys want to do over 1 million damage per melee ability? Do you guys also want to get that melee ability instantly refunded so you can do it again? How about one-shotting champions in master level content? If those three things excite you, well Guardians, I've got the build for you. But before we get into it, listen to Dado, subscribe to the channel, leave a like if you enjoy the content. Now let's get into this build. In today's video, we've got a Void Titan build. This build is going to revolve around the Peregrine Greaves exotic leg armor for the Titan. This exotic recently got buffed and is doing a massive amount of damage. Peregrine Greaves state that all shoulder charge abilities, Seismic Strike, Hammer Strike, or the Shield Bash deal bonus damage when activated in the air. Damaging mini-bosses, tormentors, or champions with your shoulder charge refunds your melee. Provides a small benefit to the airborne effectiveness stat of all weapons. We're going to be combining this exotic with our subclass and an aspect to do even more damage, and just like you saw in the intro, we will be able to achieve over 1 million damage per melee. So let's go over the fragments and aspects that are going to help us achieve over 1 million damage. We're going to be taking the Rally Barricade mainly because it has a lower base cooldown than the Towering Barricade. Then we are going to be taking the Shield Bash for our melee. States that after sprinting for a short time, use this melee ability to unleash a devastating Shield Bash that suppresses the target. Final blows with the Shield Bash grant an overshield, and we are going to want to lean heavily into having an overshield. Having an overshield with this build is basically going to make or break this build, so any way we can get an overshield is going to be good. Then we're going to have the Vortex Grenade. Really, you can pick whatever grenade you like, but the Vortex Grenade is really good inside of PvE. Then for the first aspect, we're going to be taking Bastion. Cast your super to grant an overshield to nearby allies. Casting your barricade grants overshield to yourself and nearby allies and empowers it, enabling it to slowly regenerate the overshield of allies bunkering behind it and extend their overshield duration. Like I said, any way we can get an overshield is going to be great for this build, and it's going to pair perfectly with the offensive bulwark void aspect. This states that while you have an overshield or are inside the Ward of Dawn, your grenade charges significantly faster. You have increased melee range and damage, and melee final blows extend the duration of your overshield. So the Peregrine Greaves melee ability does a lot of damage base, but this offensive bulwark is just gonna give us even more damage to our melee, so the offensive bulwark void aspect is a must-have for this build. Then for the fragments, we're gonna want to take Echo of Undermining. This states that our void grenades are actually gonna weaken targets, so this fragment is gonna help us do even more damage with our melee once the target is weakened. We're also going to be taking Echo of Persistence. Void buffs applied to you, invisibility, overshield, devour, have increased duration. Overshields are the name of the game with this build. This is going to allow us to have it even longer, and we're also going to take advantage of devour, so we'll have devour up even longer. And then we got Echo of Starvation. Picking up a void breach or an orb of power grants us devour, which obviously synergizes with Echo of Persistence. And then we're going to be taking Echo of Harvest. Defeating a weakened target creates an orb of power and a void breach. So Echo of Harvest synergizes with Echo of Starvation, and it also synergizes with Echo of Undermining. So we're going to be weakening targets with our grenades, so every time we defeat them, they're going to leave behind an orb and a void breach. On our helmet, we're taking a harmonic siphon to create orbs with our void weapon. We're taking a hands-on. We're going to get extra super energy on melee kills. And then we have a heavy ammo finder on our helmet. For the gauntlets, we have bolstering detonation. Grants class ability energy when you cause damage with a grenade. The reason we want more class ability is so we can pop our barricade. Because every time we pop our barricade, it's going to grant us an overshield. And with that overshield, we get increased melee and a faster grenade grenade recharge. Then we're going to take melee kickstart. Every time we collect an orb of power, we're going to gain armor charge. So then when we use our melee, if for some reason we don't get it fully refunded, we'll get some of that energy refunded. Then on our chest piece, we've got resistant mods, depending on whatever activity we are running. Then we have a charged up, increases the maximum number of stacks of armor charge you can carry by 1. This is going to help our melee kickstart mod to help us get more energy back. Then on our boots, we're going to be taking insulation, reduces the class ability cooldown each time we pick up an orb. Innervation reduces grenade cooltime each time we pick up an orb. And then we've got recuperation, replenishes our health each time we pick up an orb. Then on our class item, we've got Reaper. So after we use our class ability, we'll spawn an orb on the next weapon kill. Then we've got utility kickstart, help us get back some class ability energy every time we use our class ability. Then we've got an outreach mod, which is going to reduce the melee cooldown when using our class ability. And then for our exotic weapon, we are using the Vex Caliber. The reason we're using this exotic glaive is for the overshield that it grants. Blocking damage with your shield gradually bestows a void overshield to yourself and nearby allies. So once again, this is just feeding into the offensive bulwark void aspect, because when we have an overshield with this aspect, once again, our grenade charges faster and we get that extra melee damage. So just exactly how much damage are we doing with this? Well, just a normal shield bash is going to be doing 39,000 damage plus the 14,184 impact damage. And then if we jump in the air and get the Peregrine Greaves perk to proc, it's going to go from 39,000 all the way up to 429,058 damage plus the 14,184 damage. Then if we get an overshield before we jump in the air and get the melee off, it's going to pretty much double and go up to 858,115 damage. And then to take it a step further, when we jump in the air, get the exotic perk to proc, have an overshield, and we throw a grenade and weaken the target, that is how we're going to be hitting for over 1 million damage per melee. And like the exotic legs said, if you're using this on a mini boss, tormentor, or a champion, you'll get that melee ability back instantly so you can do this again. So the main gameplay loop is you're going to want to throw down your barricade so you get that overshield, toss a grenade at the champion, and then jump in the air and get that melee off. And if for some reason you're out of your class ability, that's why we have the Vex Caliber. All you got to do is block with it and you'll gain some overshield that will proc the offensive bulwark aspect. So you'll always have your overshield with this build. And as long as you're saving this melee for champions or mini bosses, you will always have that melee up and you'll always have that melee ability fully refunded. This is a very high damage build and it definitely works in endgame content. All the footage that you're seeing is from 1840 Master Lost Sectors. I highly suggest you guys try this build out. And if you have tried this build out, let me know what you guys think of it down in the comments. I'm gonna get out of here, but like I said before, if you guys enjoy the content, subscribe to the channel if you're new, leave a like, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.